There's nothing at all fake about this. This is real. It is mainly due to the connection that's taken me years to establish. I take this as serious as I take my life. Anyone who fakes this kind of thing, you're mocking the spiritual realm, you're mocking God, you're mocking angels, you're mocking everything about it.
That's a little bit rich coming from you, Steve, but carry on.
Mocking everything about it. That's not what I do. I see a lot of people out there mocking this, and I'm not going to name names. I see a lot of people attack me because they think what I do is fake.
If you're that important, Steve, come on some of our shows and talk to us, and don't be hiding behind your own channel.
Nothing I do is fake. Nothing I've ever done is fake. And those who say those things don't know me, never met me, have not watched what I do.
I've been watching you for 7 years, Steve. It's time I won't get back.
Have not seen where my work has been proven, have not seen where I've proven how spirits speak. So none of that matters. That's just noise. I have always continued on with this research, and I will always continue on with this research. And this is a breakthrough, and I know I don't use this term lightly. I've used it when I made the gold box a couple years ago, but this, my friends, is indeed a game changer for the world of ITC.
How are you, Steve? Listen, proven, you said. For the last 7 to 8 years, you have been putting out videos, saying and titling videos, proving that your work is legit, proving that you made massive discoveries, and when you look at the video, there's absolutely no evidence of that. So what are you coming with this proven? You keep saying proven. Where is that proof? You know, all you've been doing has been secretive. So, you know, you keep bringing up the proven words, but there's no proof. Last 8 years, same product, same principles, and it's not even a product, it's an amplifier with pedals attached to it. Guitar players and musicians use that technology all the time. They put together pedals all the time, connected to an amplifier to alter and manipulate sound. They didn't invent it, they just assemble it. But where is the proof? Where is this proof that you keep mentioning? Over here, where my cursor is, Jesus comes through the spirit box. Up here, I asked to speak to Jesus, but spirits shut me down. The world will end. Things about prophecy. The dead speak of the Bible, Christmas, love, God. There's God in the thumbnail there. Spirits mentions a miracle. Spirits say heaven is real. And that has been increasing the last while. Why is it? Well, the reason for it is, lately, the last while, you got channels on YouTube that are reaction channels and have been putting down, people have been doing spirit box sessions on dead celebrities for views and money. Now, Steve does these. In fact, he's one of the biggest instigators of these dead celebrity spirit box sessions. But in order to get away with it, what he does is he pulls the God card. Now, recently we had the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, and a number of other people in a helicopter crash. Now, other paranormal investigators, whether if I could call them that, I don't know, but they decided they would do a spirit box session. And I noticed online that most of these spirit box sessions were done before the coroner had released the details of the crash and to formally name those who had died, which I find pretty disturbing. But Steve is going to batter on no matter what the criticisms are. He hasn't addressed them, and one of the reasons he does this is because his followers are constantly asking for these spirit box sessions, and it's like supply and demand. If there's a demand for something, Steve will provide for it. Now, if it is a little bit controversial, the way to deal with that is to pull the God card. And with Steve and this particular incident, where there was a lot of media attention around it, other people had done these spirit box sessions and had to take them down because they got so much stick over it. In order to seal the deal, Steve decides at the end of the spirit box session to bring in other clips from other videos, and you know, in a way pulling the God card, but not only pulling the God card but pulling two, because he comes up with speaking with Jesus Christ and also John the Baptist. John. Hold on a sec. Not only has he pulled one card, but he pulls two cards. He pulls God, Jesus, and John the Baptist. He pulls the two God cards. He pulls Jesus, he pulls God, and he pulls John the Baptist. John the Baptist. And previously he pulled the Michael the Archangel. Now, I mean, like, this, why is he doing this? The reason he's doing this is because if you claim and if you're believed that you speak with these high profile religious people, symbols of goodness, that you're a good person. But it doesn't cover up the fact that you are profiting off somebody's death, and that's where his followers are blind to this. You know, I people that pray, people that go to church, and all the rest of it. If that's your thing, it's a good thing, but it doesn't make you a good person. I've seen people that go to church every day and they're complete assholes on the street. It doesn't make you a good person. And if you look the last number of months and the increasing number of crosses on the wall, he is trying to protect, he's trying to make himself look good to his followers.
Can we connect? It might be hard to see.
And followers is the word I would use here. But bringing up John the Baptist, why I keep smiling at this, why he brought up John the Baptist and he brought up Jesus Christ at the end of this spirit box session of the dead celebrity, it didn't fully fit, even though he molded it into it. Those so-called communications was from other videos. Now he brought this in at the end to, in a way, just pull the God card, and that I find even worse. I find that disrespectful to. I find that disrespectful to the celebrity for a start, but to pull the God card to get this video out to make money on advertising and merch, and he also in this video had close-up shots of his Wonderbox Gold. He pulls, which, you know, he didn't say, he didn't ask you to buy it, but he was focusing on it to show the importance of it. More candy to entice the viewer, to encourage the viewer to purchase his products, which at the end of the day is an amplifier with pedals velcroed or stuck on the backs and sides. It is not worth $2,000 or $4,000. There's a number of prices out there. Many of us use and experiment with pedals and amplifiers. I have one myself. I have a Roland amplifier, which I find is possibly even better than the Lunchbox Junior that Steve uses, because the Roland amplifier has a number of built-in features on it. But I didn't pay $4,000 for it. I didn't pay $2,000 for it. I paid £150 for the Roland amplifier, and I spent less than £50, £40 on the pedals and stuff like that. And you know, the only reason I'm using it is it gives you control on your audio. It is not a telephone to the dead, which he makes out to be. And I notice as well, Steve a long time ago stopped using the SP7 Spirit Box to you know, sort of more concentrate on these amplifiers with pedals on them and using apps. And apps, that some of the apps he made himself, some of the apps was made by Keith Weldon and that. But all of a sudden he's gone back to using a Spirit Box, and the Spirit Box is a Pana box, which is it looks like a DR60, but it's a small pocket radio. And as far as I know, you know, it can be hacked and that, but as far as I gather, it can only scan in AM. Now, it seems kind of strange that he would stop using the PSP7 or some of these other hacked boxes, and I would exclude the products from Paranologies, which he seems to like. You know, he had a couple of episodes with those Pana boxes, but you know, I think the reason that he's gone back to using these Panasonic radios is that he has some to sell himself. Now the marketplace has gone. It's very, very hard to get one of these radios. I don't know where he gets them and that, but it means for some reason everything he touches turns to flipping gold, and these radios are fetching something in the region of $2,000 and more, just because Huff is associated with. But people seem to not look at the whole picture. You know, how important is he? He's not. You know, he's selling a product which is basically a number of different products stuck together, and I can't understand. I don't know if he's ever had any court cases involving the manufacture of those individual products, you know, in copywriting a product and say this is my creation, which is not a creation. It's an assembly of different sound pedals and amplifiers. You know, guitar players and musicians assemble pedals together all the time. It doesn't mean that they have invented something or created something, you know. But I will show you this clip of Steve pulling 2 God cards, which makes him out to be, to his viewers, a holy and nice man, which you know, I can see through this, and I see the purpose of this. And I noticed that this was put at the end of this video. Now he has made excuses that, you know, people say that this isn't right, but he says he sees that it's only right is because you know, not doing this is not letting the spirits to speak. But you know, there is a respectful way of doing this. I don't believe in doing this. I don't, you know, I do spirit box session. I try to communicate with paranormal energy that is around me. I don't call out for, you know, Paddy or John or Mary that died last week or last year, or I don't even go into paranormal investigations knowing the history and call out to those people. I just turn on the spirit box and I try to get communication, whatever kind of communication I get, you know. But show you this clip and just notice the big massive cross in the back wall. It's just it just to me that was done as a purpose.
Amazing is that reply that came in when I asked if Kobe has crossed over into heaven. Spirits openly talk about heaven, hell. They've talked about a waiting area, which we would call purgatory. They've talked about the light. They've talked about God. They've talked about Jesus, and just recently, John the Baptist. Who's here with me? John the Baptist minister. See if the spirits want to chat this morning. John. Holy cow, John. Is this John the Baptist? Correct. Is there anything you need from me, John? What is your name? Jesus Christ. Love God. Who's here that I'm feeling?
I was informed on a comment on my last video that my comment that I showed on video of me protesting of his community post that he was doing this Spirit Box session of this this celebrity, this basketball player, and you know, where I had issue with it, he just chose to remove the comment, and that is the thing that he does. The other thing that he does, if he may at sometimes pick a comment and pin it so his followers can tear them to shreds, which is a shit thing to do. But you know, you never see Steve Huff up on other people's panels on documentaries. You don't see him on other people's shows. He doesn't have other people on his shows, and it's all for a reason, because there's so many people that want to throw so much shit at him that he sticks with himself, and the only person he associates would be Keith Weldon and Josh, and more notably Josh, who's kind of I don't know whether he's starstruck or he looks up to him. He seems to look up to him in a big way. But, you know, us in the ITC field and us in trying to learn the ITC, there's a lot of people out there trying to learn and stuff like that. And, you know, a lot of them, when you look through YouTube, look through ITC, you know, one of the first people that's going to come up is Steve Huff. And, you know, it is a bad thing, because Steve Huff has based a YouTube channel around a guitar pedals and an amplifier. There is no broad spectrum there. It's just based on this. And, you know, he relabels it every so often to a different name, but it's the same product. It's based around the same principles of guitar pedals which alter sound that goes through an amplifier. Those products are already out there. It is just an assembly. It is not an invention, and he wasn't the first person to actually experiment with them. He took that idea and he made it his own, which people think that he is the inventor of this so-called Spirit Box, which is just an assembly of different pieces of equipment. You know, it's just a sound setup. It's nothing fancy. You get your pedals, you connect them together, you put them into the amplifier. Now there's word about, you know, programming and stuff like that. But even at that, it doesn't justify $2,000 to $4,000. You know, but you know, I wasn't going to talk about this kind of stuff, you know, and just let people get on with it. I make an exception for Steve Huff because he's just making us all look bad. It just is. And these claims of talking to John the Baptist and Jesus and Michael the Archangel and stuff like that, it is just a false face. It is just a mask to what he's really doing, and that is to make money, and to make money off vulnerable people, which I think is disgraceful. You know, I cannot support this guy. And you know, people in the ITC, the elders of ITC will not even speak of him, you know. But I think this pulling the God card thing is just it's just a shit move. It is really, really bad. You know, I'm not shitting on his beliefs. I'm not shitting on his, you know, I'm not putting us down his religion or beliefs or anything like that. But in my opinion, this pulling the God card with a celebrity spirit box session was just a ploy to make that video acceptable, and that is, I think, to use God and to use religious characters in that kind of way is kind of a shit move. You know, it's just, it makes it even worse. But his followers see it in a nice way. It see, oh, you're such a nice person. And at the end of the video again, remember guys, love is the key. And that is a thing that he puts out on all these videos, you know. But I am grateful that I can see through this kind of stuff, that I'd not fallen for it. I did before, a couple of years ago, and it was, you know, order of magnitude that kind of pulled me out of it. I, you know, didn't believe order of magnitude. I thought it was a jealous hater in the beginning, but his channel came up a second time and I decided to give him a second chance, and I totally agree with what is going on. And to me, you know, if we don't call this kind of behaviour out, we're all going to get painted with the same flipping brush, and that is the sad thing. It dirties the whole paranormal field. It dirties the whole ITC field, and to me that's kind of sad, you know. The paranormal was never about making money. It was never about business, you know. And you know, this kind of behavior is business. It's a big business. It's ad revenue. It's merchandise. It's making spirit boxes claiming that they're telephones to the dead. And I see the comment section. There's people that are in pain. They've lost loved ones, and they want to reach out and say, you know, can you contact my dead relatives? I've done this a couple of years now, and I have done this before when I was younger, in a different kind of way, sort of in a more scientific kind of way, in a laboratory. And in all that time, I have never had full proof that I could talk to somebody close to me that died. You know, I've had no evidence of that. Yes, we've had, you know, communications that we was very compelling and stuff, but we don't know, we've never found out exactly who or what the communicator is. And Steve claims every time that he's talking to a certain person, and it's putting it in it's people are going into this looking at Steve Huff, thinking they can do this, and when they can't, they'll give up. And that is the sad thing, you know. They won't achieve the same thing that he does. And, you know, I'm not going to fully say that there was overlaid audio involved, you know, but, you know, there's jump cuts in between questions and answers, and that you can't put that up as evidence. You cannot. You can put in a question and have a jump cut, and you can put anything you want as the answer. You know, once that jump cut is in there, during a spurt box session, you know, that's it, screwed. It's messed with it. It's finished. It's not. There's nothing you can do with it. You know, you cannot prove, but you've muddied it up by just a jump cut. You know. But I'm gonna go. Hopefully, I won't have to talk about this again. But I just wanted to put my little piece in about recent happenings, you know, along with Huff Paranormal. And, you know, I don't want to go into shitting on other people and that, but I'll make an exception for Steve Huff because he's affecting every single one of us. And it's just not, it's not good. It really isn't. And, you know, I've asked a number of times, oh, do you do what Steve Huff does? I don't do what Steve Huff does at all. It's completely different. And people, the older ITC people will not speak of him, and it's for a reason. Folks, I'll see you in the next one.